Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the July 23rd Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, again, good morning, everybody. First thing on our agenda are our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions and or corrections?
I do not.
Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, held on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, July 9th, 2024. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up is planning. Dawn, Sherry, Dane, Jane, come on down.
Okay.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So for the, we had an original public hearing scheduled for 9 o'clock for the Williams property, but that was renoticed in the newspaper to July 30th. So we don't need to review or read the public notice or continue it. It's been renoticed, so.
So-
Packets have been amended and the notice has been sent to the newspaper.
Okay, so this will move to 7:30,
Correct.
correct? Okay. All right, very good.
So then we'd like to jump down to item number 2, which is the zoning variance application for Stoner Top and Ragland.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give us
All right,
the
so
overview here.
Mr. Ragland, they own the property there south of 184, as well as Stoner Top, which is a sawmill lumberyard. And they are proposing to do a boundary line adjustment, basically with themselves. They would like to convey 5 acres from their ag land over to the existing 15-acre light industrial zoned sawmill property. And the variance request is to not have to go through the zoning process with planning and zoning and the public hearings. That property, one triangle there at the north, lies between Tri-State Substation and the light industrial sawmill property. And then south of there is Tri-State's main line in and out of that substation that's got a 100-foot wide easement. This 5 acres would cover part of that area under that power line easement, and it just picks up the legacy waste and operations that have existed there. Raglands would just like to get that consolidated onto the Stoner Top property and not have that piece that's stuck in under the tri-state lines and stuff as part of the ag land. But in order to do a boundary line adjustment, we can't do ag zoned property to light industrial unless we get a variance that could be zoned without going through the zoning process. It's kind of complicated because you couldn't transfer it first as ag land to light industrial property and be one. So the request is to not go through the zoning process and continue on that could be light industrial zoned if the boundary line adjustment is approved.
Okay.
What? Why not apply for light industrial zoning there?
because in order to do that, you'd have to subdivide it, and then you'd have a parcel there as a single lot development that you couldn't connect to the Stoner Top property as one parcel.
So, Commissioners, do you have any questions? So,
So the Stoner Top property was given a letter permit in 2000, with the rest of the county doing land initiated zoning of light industrial zoning. Tri-State didn't, but that's a substation, so obviously it's an industrial use property. The property to the west of Stoner Top is the Stocks Sawmill Lumberyard. It's another 18 acres of a legacy sawmill lumber operation. So basically you've got 30 to 35 acres right now that's all used the same. This would just be adding an additional 5 acres into that mix. And Stoner Top would like to keep it contiguous and not have a single lot development try to be zoned light industrial 25 years later. They'd just as soon have it do a boundary line adjustment with the same zoning so that it could all sit as one 20-acre parcel instead of a 15 and a 5.
Any problems with Tri-State's easement through there?
We haven't heard anything about it. I'm sure access road is, there's a road, as you can see, that runs down through there.
Yeah.
So they do have access. If there's ever a condition where, you know, something's in their way, I'm sure they would contact Stoner Top and say, you know, you need this pushed back or we need access. If they're replacing a whole line, it's going to be a whole big operation.
Right.
If it's just for routine maintenance and access, that is currently available.
so on the 5 acres, the ag land right now, there's already waste product on there
Correct.
as it currently sits. So they're using that currently,
Correct,
Okay.
yeah, it's,
and they're just wanting to add it to the entire acreage.
right. They would like to consolidate it to Stoner Top's parcel.
And there's no agricultural, obviously, taking place on the ag land.
No,
It's just,
no, there's kind of a little drainage that runs down through there. It's kind of a natural boundary, and they've never plowed the ground on the other side of that little drainage at all, or they might have grazed cows or something like that, you know, but that's the only agricultural use that they've used it for. And part of it has got some cedar and pinyon on it, and steel on the Raglan land there, bordering Stoner Top. And
okay.
the power line people, they use the road there quite a bit for access, just for general maintenance and looking at stuff, you know, and but we realize that has to be kept open. And
Questions?
How much ground do they have around that substation there?
I believe that's 6 or 7 acres.
It's a pretty big lot.
It's a big sub out there.
yeah, Raglan is the one that gave the lease to the substation.
Tri-State.
Yeah,
It was,
they-
the lease was given before we brought the property from Hamilton's, and the Tri-State lease was already in effect at that time.
That was back in about 83, wasn't it? 82, 83?
I'm sorry, sir, I have a hard time hearing. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Wasn't that lease granted about 1982, 83, somewhere back there?
Yeah, somewhere in there. It was before we purchased the property. I know
Right.
that. I've got the papers on it there if we need to see it.
No, I don't need to see, I'm just,
So I think we have to be careful to to distinguish what exactly the variance is that we're asking for. And certainly a variance could be granted for light industrial uses on that piece of property. That's appropriate. A variance to simply rezone a property outside of the zoning regulations, that's kind of a different story.
It would only be, well, you tell me, if they do a boundary line adjustment and it's allowed for light industrial uses, then that whole parcel should be light industrial zoned.
Well, and therein lies the problem that we run into. I mean, I don't think a variance is appropriate to circumvent the zoning regulations. Now, I understand what the ask is, and I understand why the ask is there. And I think a variance would be appropriate to allow for certain uses on that property. But to simply grant a variance and rezone via that variance, I mean, that's not really what a variance is. A variance isn't rezoning a piece of property. A variance is allowing certain uses on the property. And you do run into the issue with the boundary line adjustment. That is true. That is true.
Because then the boundary line adjustment would basically zone it, that entire parcel?
Boundary line adjustment would just convey 5 acres to 15
To the other
acres.
side.
But then you have one piece of property with mixed zoning.
Which you
Correct.
can't have. So
Because you
can't have-
would
So
have
that's-
light industrial and
that's the
ag.
request. It's not changing use.
Mhm.
I can see how this would be, you know, if there's several acres involved in it, you know. But this is just 5 acres. It's both owned by the family or whatever, both properties. And there's no other people involved in it except us. And I
It's
don't
a-
understand why, you know, I understand if we was going the other way with it, well, there wouldn't be no problem. But that doesn't make sense to me.
It's a very unique situation. Therefore, the variance request.
At the very least, it may be smart to continue this over for a week and give me a little bit more time to really research this in depth. I think it's certainly is different than any other variance that we deal with. And I guess in looking at the application, I guess what I was understanding is there was going to be a variance for light industrial uses, which I think is far different than a variance simply granting light industrial zoning.
So can a parcel have light industrial zoning with an envelope of light industrial uses and still combine the property? We're not.
I'm not sure that's contemplated in the land use code. I don't know that you could have an envelope on an ag-zoned property that was
I've
part
never
of a
seen that.
light industrial. I mean,
So
that's
I-
not
I
something that's
understand your
contemplated
question,
by the
but I've never
code.
seen that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either zoned one or the other, or whatever the zoning might be.
So we're not rezoning an individual piece of property, is what it boils down to.
Correct.
The
It's a
boundary line
conveyance.
adjustment conveys a certain added area, and that area does not stand alone and should not have to go through the zoning process because it's not standalone, not looking for a different use, not allowed for a new use unless the whole 20 acres would go through the process.
Here's my concern. Here I understand what's happening, but through this mechanism, through boundary line adjustments and variances to zoning on ag land, you could have a situation where you had a light industrial zone or a heavy industrial zone extend into ag land through a variance and a boundary line adjustment, and that zone would grow without the appropriate review. And therein lies the issue. Here it's 5 acres. What happens if it's 25 acres later and you've got a different situation, or you've got a 25-acre buffer between that light industrial zone and, ag land and residential land, and then all of a sudden you extend your zone out 25 acres, and now the light industrial zone's right in somebody's backyard.
But the mechanism for a boundary line adjustment always goes through the commissioners, so that would be the review, the oversight, and would be very unlikely to ever be approved. Just to the northeast, there's 30 acres that's zoned commercial on the highway.
I'm certainly
There's-
happy to do more research. I'm not super comfortable with the idea of granting a variance that in essence rezones a piece of property.
Well, just to clarify, it's not rezoning a piece of property.
Well, that's exactly what it's doing.
Well,
That's actually exactly what it's doing.
It's a part of a parcel that's adjoined. That's my legal aspect. That's not legal.
I tend to agree with the attorney. I think this is such a curveball that we need to really look at this. And he needs to study whether we can figure out how to do this.
Continuation, you good?
Yeah,
All right. Well then,
we're not against you doing this.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure we do it right.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I mean, I don't think any one of us up here is against you doing what you're asking to do here, but we just want to make sure we get it right.
Yes,
okay?
sir. I appreciate that.
I mean, personally, I think it's a good thing for what you're trying to do. It's a really good thing. And I don't think any of us here are really against you doing this. We just want to make sure we get it right.
Okay, yes, sir.
We don't want to have to redo something because
No, sir.
okay? But I don't think any of us are against you doing what you're wanting to do. We just want to make sure we get it right. Is that a fair statement?
Fair
With you guys?
You be ready
move
in
it
1
for
week?
continuation.
Okay. I move
30 July.
I would move we postpone this till 1 week from today, 9 o'clock.
9:20.
Okay, 9:20.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to postpone this variance application submitted by Bill F. Ragland and Sons on property located at TBD Highway 184, Dolores, Colorado, until 30 July at 9:20 a.m. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. There you go, sir. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay, I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
9:20 a.m.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
All right.
We will not need to proceed with item number 3 on the agenda.
Okay. Cancel. That'll carry over also, I assume.
Correct. But we don't need a motion on it.
Yep.
It's not a public hearing.
All right, well then we'll go back up to, I guess, 9:10.
Correct.
So, it looks like I see the applicants here. Do we need the Rediganian, or this is just a,
This is just a variance
This is just a-
request application for,
okay. All right, well then, take it away, Don.
so, been a So the applicants are submitting a setback variance request. This is a continuation in the subdivision application reviewed previously. They did get the surveyor out to the property. The house on the west, the northwest corner, they did measure that. The setback distance from the county road right-of-way to the eve of the carport is 10.1 feet. The setback distance to the support posts of the carport is 10.9 feet. The setback to the house on the west side is 28.3 feet. So they're requesting a variance to the setback requirement of 30 feet to the carport. Now, we probably should also include setback to the house in the instance that in the future, if the carport's removed, that the house is still compliant if the variance is approved.
So to the house is the 29.3?
28.3.
Okay, 28.3.
And typically for a structure, we go to the support posts of a carport, which would be the 10.9 feet. And again, this is to get this house resident that's been there for 25 years, 20 years, whatever, compliant so that if the subdivision is approved, that is a compliant situation.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add? No?
No, sir.
Well, thank you for getting us this information. I know that it's kind of critical to have the information in front of us instead of guessing. So with that, Commissioners, do you have any?
I don't have anything, I just,
Okay. What's your pleasure?
I move we approve the variance application submitted by Barbara Benavidez and LeAnn Siglin and Kenneth Gallegos on property located at 14852 Road 29, Dolores.
second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the setback variance application submitted by Barbara Benavidez, LeAnn Siglin, and Kenneth Gallegos on property located at 14852 Road 29, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 11.84 acres, more or less. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that has been approved.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to these people here. They have just been so wonderful to us. I was very knowledgeable about what we needed to do, and they have really, Dawn and Sherry have just really hung in with us and helped us get through this. So I just want to say thank you to them.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
You're not done.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're not done yet.
Oh,
You're not,
sorry.
you got one more?
Subdivision to finish.
I'm sorry. Well, thank you ahead of that.
All right, so 9:15, we actually are past 9:15, so we can actually go ahead with the public hearing. So would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination regarding of a proposed two-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Barbara Benavidez, LeAnn Siglin, and Kenneth Gallegos on property located at 14852 Road 29, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 11.84 acres more or less, located south of Road 29, west of Road 29.75, situated in Section 33, Township 37 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 at 9:15 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office. Online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com, public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 16th day of July, 2024, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Originally published in the Journal on Wednesday, June 26, 2024, and this is continued from July 9th, the BOCC meeting.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, give us the
So,
overview here.
yeah, just to continue on, they are applying to split off 3 acres from the 11-acre parcel that currently exists. It would contain the one house there to the north end of the 3 acres, and the existing 2 residences would remain on the rest of the property. There's access existing that would be to each subdivision lot, as well as all utilities. And the proposed property line between the 2 houses there on Road T does meet the minimum 30-foot setback. It's 62 feet between the 2, so they can split the difference, and that would be compliant.
All right. Do you have anything that you would like to add, ladies? All right, commissioners, questions?
No, I mean, we're just continuing, we solved the problem with the
Yeah.
previous
Um,
approval, so.
All right, well, I do think that I still have to open this up for public comment. So at this point in time, I'll open this application up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address, and you may address the board at this time. All right, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application and bring it back to the commissioners, gentlemen.
I have nothing further.
I don't
Nor
either.
do I.
That's fine. I think it's fine. I move to approve this proposed 2-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Barbara Benavidez, LeAnn Siglin, and Kenneth Gallegos on property located at 14852 Road 29, Dolores, Colorado.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed 2-lot moderate subdivision and AR 339 rezoning application submitted by Barbara Benavidez, LeAnn Siglin, and Kenneth Gallegos on property located at 14852 Road 29, Dolores, Colorado. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you have been approved. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you
Now
again.
I'm free to go.
And
See,
I
this
will
is why
close
we
this
need to-
public hearing.
Thank you.
All right, then it looks like we have,
We have signatures for
signatures.
high impact permit and for a Mylar.
okay, and these will be for Montezuma Water Company and for a 3-lot minor subdivision for Rocky Wilson that were approved previously. All right. Hey, Travis.
My brother gave me this. Basics on biochar.
Okay, I think that takes care of
All
what we-
right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Next is our general public comment session. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their times to other. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Lynch. My address is 21730 Road S, Cortez. I just wanted to comment on one of the P&Z cases. For the benefit of the public, I'm a volunteer who was appointed to the P&Z Commission, and so that's where I currently serve. As a volunteer or as a member of the P&Z Commission, we do not have access to an attorney when we have questions or concerns and how to interpret the land use code or its application. So my comments this morning are strictly from myself and my opinions, and the attorney will later determine what needs to be done. But on the first case that came before the commissioners this morning, my understanding of the land use code is that a zoning designation applies to the entire parcel. It cannot apply to a part of a parcel. The same applies in regard to permits. Permits apply to an entire parcel. They cannot apply to a portion or fraction of a parcel. In regard to the application that was heard this morning, my understanding is the solution to that, well, my understanding is if the gentleman has a boundary line adjustment that brings in more acreage to a current parcel, that new acreage and the parcel that is it's being added to must all have the same zoning. It's not necessary to apply for or have zoning for that single parcel and the larger parcel it comes into. It all takes on either the zoning of the other parcel or a zoning that is being applied for at the time that will apply to the entire parcel after the boundary line adjustment. So I believe in this case, the simple answer is to make the boundary line adjustment, and it takes on the light industrial zoning designation of the larger portion, because it seems like that's what the gentleman is trying to accomplish. So anyway, it's a complication, but I think when you have to apply either zoning designations or permits to the entire parcel, then it becomes clearer. And there was one thing else I wanted to say, but it's not coming to me. And I've used up my time, so thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning, John Godbout, 28,000 Road T. I just want to say I appreciate everything that you guys have done with the Ironwood stuff and trying to get that sorted out. However, I do also want to ask that maybe you reevaluate the need for a high impact permit. I picked this from my yard just on my way here today. It's constantly blowing. And I don't care so much if it's a temporary thing to get rid of the pile, the biochar. I just think it should have a high impact permit and be required to have a bond, because the bonds company will do their own risk analysis. And if something goes wrong, then the county doesn't have to pay for it, the bonds company will. And I would even forego the noise or any sort of mitigation so long as it was during the time that they're cleaning up the original pile. I mean, we can all deal with something temporarily and revisit any mitigation that may or may not be needed, as long as they're focusing on that pile. And we'll have all the data for when they are done and want to bring material in. So I'm just asking that maybe you revisit and reevaluate any determination that they don't need a high-impact permit. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for the opportunity here to speak. My name is Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21 in Lewis. I hope this is a positive. We just completed, the elections office took part in that for House District 58, a recount for that primary run. And I think the positive that I feel that came out of that is, yes, every vote counts. It was such a close race when it ended with the recount. I think that individuals need to know that they do have an opportunity to vote, and they should take that opportunity and be responsible for it. A question, which probably is going to be more of a negative to this, is at least one county, Dolores County, out of House District 58, had 370 some ballots that were not delivered to voters. That is scary. Why did that happen? Where are those ballots? Yes, it is the responsibility of every voter to try and vote. Take that responsibility strongly in their minds to do that. But that's going to have to be a question that gets addressed. Dolores County was obviously a big one that was noticed. How much of that happened across the state of Colorado? And I'm just wanting to bring it to the attention that these things happen and where the question's going to come from for Montezuma County. You know, again, I just wanted to bring that up, and I know those questions are going to be going to the counties and to the Secretary of State, but I wanted to just bring it again to the attention to those watching that if you don't get a ballot by the end of a voting period, they really should be asking them questions. Well, what happened and why didn't I? Did I change my address? What did happen? But 300 and some ballots, that's a big deal out of a small county. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next. Okay, seeing no other public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting. And we are going to alter this agenda just a little bit. I have somebody on Zoom here, and that's for the discussion of the Upper Road 42 under unfinished business, local improvement district, and loan and bond. With that, Ian, I'll let you take it away. This is more attorney.
Yeah, so Travis, if you'll scroll down to the resolution in this record of proceedings. Okay, perfect. So this is a resolution for the local improvement district for the Upper Road 42 water project. What this resolution is in essence the Upper 42 water improvement district has secured a loan for design and engineering costs that will cover those costs as they move forward with their project. In order to make that loan work, they need a resolution from the county saying that we're going to finance 20% of the project. They have already worked with another organization that will then reimburse the 20% to the county, and so the cost to the county for this will be nothing. In essence, everything that's expended, and I don't even know that it's going to be expended out of the county budget. It's just going to be a pass-through from this third party in order to finance this project. And so this is the resolution that you need to have happen. Basically, the drinking water revolving fund is going to be the fund that's going to be reimbursing the county the 20%. And so that's what this resolution does. It's really no risk to the county. If those funds don't come through, then we're not bound by anything, and that lays this out. So that's what it is.
Okay, and I think, we pretty much went over this yesterday also in our workshop.
I see we have somebody from the Upper 42 local.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay, sorry.
In just a second. you know, we've been working on this now for a couple of years, trying to get this taken care of, and I think it's a very good thing. I think we've all stated that, to help those residents up there on that area of County Road 42. So with that, I forgot what your name was, ma'am, but do you have anything else that you would like to add from the Upper 42 Local Improvement District?
Sure, this is Laura Rick. I'm the district administrator. And I did want to add that the 20% match for this particular loan/grant was actually collected by Upper Road 42 from the members. So the members have already funded the 20% match.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
I have nothing further.
Commissioner Copeland?
I don't have anything. No.
Okay.
Go ahead, Drew.
I
So-
move to,
It's actually just going to be the resolution that we're going to be signing, Commissioner, and
Okay.
that's on page.
what number is it? gonna
If
be?
you'll just pull it up, Travis, on the screen.
It's the back of that next page, I think. Yes. There we go. There's the resolution.
Yeah. I move to approve this resolution for Montezuma County Local Improvement District Number 2023-1, Upper Road 42, Montezuma County, Colorado. Local Improvement District organized and existing under the constitutional laws of the state of Colorado.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept resolution number,
Is it one of our resolutions? The number
23-1
Yeah.
for the local improvement district organization existing under the construction laws of the state of Colorado, for the local improvement district for Upper Road 42. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'll sign it in a minute, once I get that back together. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. You don't have to attend the rest of the meeting. You can go on with your day if you'd like to.
I can go back to work. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Good day.
It's been approved. All right, now I'm going to jump back up to new business. New business, I see just walked in the room. We have our social services, financials, and updates.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Want to take care of the
Yes.
records of proceedings first?
I would so move we approve the minutes of the Tuesday, June 25th, 2024 meeting, Board of Social Services, and also the financials for the month of June in the amount, correct me if I'm wrong, $1,177,370.
At 1.5.
Okay, wrong sheet. Okay, 1,546,924.38.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the record of proceedings for the social services for June 25th, 2024, and also the payables for June 2024 in the amount of $1,546,924.38. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those are approved. So What else do you have for us?
Excellent. No, not a ton. We continue to work on digitization, which is quite the process, particularly in child welfare, because we have so much to do. And we are also continuing to work with Cassell to transition our accounting software, and that's a big project that Lori, myself, and LeAnn have spent lots of time on. Above and beyond that, I have submitted the core services plan for this fiscal year, 24-25. And I am seeking approval for that so that it may be submitted. Our allocation did increase a bit this year. We have $381,268 that's been allocated to Montezuma County for core services. Core services are really designed to be anything Medicaid doesn't pay for as far as treatment. So that can be psychological evaluations, life skills, substance abuse before and after care, day treatment programs, things of that nature. So within that program, we have divvied that up. We have also created three county designated areas to focus on. One of those is structured family time. So we have a plan to pay for supervised visits, which is now called family time in the state of Colorado, and have that contracted out with a provider in the community, as well as a half-time case aide who provides those visits. Family time either tends to be feast or famine. We have a ton or we don't have a ton. The state has shifted family time to be the least intrusive possible. So we really have seen a decrease in the amount of family times conducted by this department and supervised. It still necessitates a half-time staff member, which comes out of core, and a side contract for any cases where folks just prefer to have a different party supervise their family time. Our second county designated plan is our family engagement specialist. This person is at a half-time rate, and their role really is to facilitate family meetings so that we can do case management together, make decisions as a team with family, department, and outside representation. We just started this last year when I came on. It has been really wonderful. It is a strength for community members, attorneys, and our department to really work together and make plans regularly and routinely with families. And then our third area is family prevention caseworker, and so that's two different staff, both at halftime, and they provide prevention services. So they're opening cases for families who we want to keep children in their home of origin, and we offer case management and other prevention services. So in total, this plan is 2.5 FTE. So core services pay for 2.5 FTE for this department, and then all other services are contracted out, as you can see. Do you have it? I sent it to the BOCC. No, it was sent to its own attachment.
As far as the contracting out for like the family time, those are all done here, correct? Are they still done here, or are they done throughout the community?
Yeah.
So
The visits, the family time visits.
yeah, so yes, they are done, sometimes they're done on-site locally, sometimes they're done out in the community and supervised. Sometimes there's significant parental conflict with the department and a family, and so we hire a third party to provide that structured family time. That's more rare, but it is in place so that it's available to families. So there's an option, a choice.
Okay, so they're not all here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Especially when the weather's nice, we try to get out of the building and go somewhere else. So there's 2.5 FTE paid through core. The rest are contracts for home-based interventions, intensive family therapy, sex abuse treatment, day treatment, life skills, special economic assistance, aftercare services, mental health services, and substance abuse treatment services. There are percentages that are required, and so those are pretty loose to the state. I make those up based on our spending from last fiscal year and the contracts that we have this year. However, you'll see like a 1% in the day treatment line item. We don't have day treatment locally. We don't pay for day treatment locally, but I did put 1% in the case that we have to send a child out of state or out of the county, not out of state, out of the county and they need to be in day treatment, that we can use those funds to pay for that placement. That's the plan, unless you have questions.
That's it? That's the plan, all right. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
I asked the only one that I had.
We need to make a motion. Okay,
And that has been sent via DocuSign.
okay.
Already?
That's all I
Okay.
have.
I don't think I got anything via DocuSign, but, oh, I do. I do have that now. Okay.
I made him sign the other one.
He did.
Perfect.
Well, I see it now. I just received it, so I'll take care of it.
Perfect.
We're good.
All right, thank you. So,
All right, let's go this route. I would move we authorize the chairman to sign the core action plan.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to have the chairman sign the core action plan via DocuSign. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there you go.
Easy
It'll be
peasy.
taken care of this morning.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, guys. Next, we're going to jump down into unfinished business, and we'll start with Miss Jerry. I see her sitting over there. We're going to talk about a summer brew fest in Memphis.
Good morning. My name's Jerry Frizzell. I am from Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder's Office, and I have a festive permit application for Memphis Brewery Company that was presented a couple weeks ago, where we did not have a letter from the sheriff, and now I have a letter from the sheriff stating that he received the information regarding a special liquor license event request for an event scheduled to be held on Memphis Brew Pub located at 484 East Frontage Road in Memphis, Colorado, in August of 2024. The Montezuma County Sheriff's Office has not received a request for security during this event and will not be providing security for the request event. It is my understanding that they plan to have private security.
Okay, and I think that was the big deal, is just to make sure that we had him notified
Yes.
and before we approve anything. So, any questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay.
I move to approve this festival permit application for the Memphis Brewing Company, brew pub license, 484 East Frontage Road, Memphis, Colorado.
Second.
It's for August 17th, 2024.
Sorry about that. Got a little
I'm
bit
sorry.
worried.
I couldn't find the
That-
date.
That's okay. It's been moved and seconded to accept this festival permit application to the Memphis Brewing Company, located at 484 East Frontage Road, Memphis, Colorado, and the date for the event is August 17th, 2024. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
gentlemen.
right, thank you.
Thanks.
Now we are going to go into our decision for our SRS, our Secure Rural Schools funding. This is something that we have gotten for the last several years. It was slated to go away a couple of years ago, but the legislature did fund it, or Congress funded it, I should say. As it's determined, we give 25% to the schools, 25% to Road and Bridge, the other 50% is discretionary. We did have all three school districts in here yesterday to go over the funding source, and they were all in agreement of the breakdown per capita of how it was divvied out between RE1, RE6, and RE4, I believe. And RE1, which is the largest, will get the amount of $38,002.79. Dolores, $9,573.22, and Manka's 69.60. They were all in agreement with that. Last year, we gave the remaining 50% to the schools, but our road and bridge superintendent did have some special projects that he needed to use on the roads, which were chip seal, road striping, and blade patching, in the amount of $185,500. So with that, our discretionary approval was to keep the 50% and put 75% to Montezuma County for $163,636.83, and the school's allocation will be $54,545.61. And that complies with the statute. The Title III money, which is very specific in the delineation of where it can go, and we will probably looking at the dispatch center at this time.
Correct.
With that, gentlemen, I'll need a,
I would so move we distribute the secure rural schools funding as presented.
Second.
been moved and seconded to distribute the SRS funding as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, then we had a letter of interest from the Lewis Cemetery Board. This would be for a 6-year term. The lady has been on for several years, and her term expired basically without her knowing it. So with that, anything else that you guys would like to add?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
I move to appoint Kimberly A. Martin back to the Lewis Cemetery, Community Cemetery Board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to reappoint Kimberly Martin for a 6-year term to the Lewis Cemetery Board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we have an election security grant award signature. Come on down, Mr. Dobry.
Good morning. The commissioners approved submission of this grant on May 21st. We applied for $33,014.03 and were awarded $23,581.92. And I'm asking the commission to approve signature of the grant agreement.
Any questions? This was also presented yesterday in our workshop. So we've had the discussion of the funding source and the
match portion.
The match portion.
The only thing I
sorry.
was going to add is, so this grant was, it was written as for up to 100%, and we were awarded not our full ask, so we would have to match the rest of that. But it is all equipment that we need.
We're going to have anyway?
Yeah,
Okay. Questions?
that's all I have.
Okay.
You have that, Darryl?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Let's just do it off the.
I would so move we approve the signature of the election security grant.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept and sign the election security grant in the amount of $23,581.92. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And will that come via DocuSign?
You have it.
Okay.
DocuSign, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We also had a presentation from Dustin Sattler yesterday, our grounds supervisor, and we have 3 quotes for a HVAC unit. His recommendation was to go with Win Air, and that is in the amount of $19,233.84. Was there anything else that he added to this, or?
He's going to come back with the next,
With the bid opening?
yeah, with
for
the
next
bid
week?
opening
Okay.
of the next, that's the generators though, isn't it?
That's generators,
Yeah,
so
so that
2
was-
different things.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry about that. I forgot to silence my phone. I would so move we approve the bid for Win Air for the grant amount of, let's see,
That's for the HVAC.
HVAC for Annex 1, right?
Yes.
Yes. You just barely see that.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept Win Air's proposal for Annex Number 1 for the HVAC unit, heating, ventilating, and air conditioning, in the amount of $19,233.84. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We've already talked about the Upper 42 LID, and that's been approved. And with that, I'm going to go straight to Ian. Your report is first.
Okay. It's been a fairly quiet couple weeks in terms of deadlines in our civil cases. Again, I think I've reported before, but we've got certification of the record in the Leaf Properties case is due at the end of the month. And so at that point, we'll certify the record. A case management conference has been set in that case. That's going to happen on November 8th. November 8th will be a case management conference in that case, and at that point, we'll set deadlines and continue to move forward in that case. I participated in an appeals hearing for an unemployment benefits determination yesterday on behalf of the Department of Social Services. They had an employee that was terminated, and now the process is moving forward for unemployment benefits. The hearing took about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, something like that, and we should be getting a decision within the next couple of weeks. I would just make a comment that it's interesting in this state, having participated in several of these unemployment benefit hearings in the past couple of years, and now this one yesterday. It certainly seems like there's a default to award unemployment benefits regardless of the circumstances in which an employee is separated from their employment. So in other words, even if an employee is terminated for cause, oftentimes there is a default to award that employee benefits, which is interesting because that's not really the way that the statute reads. The statute is pretty clear that there are several circumstances that disqualify an employee from receiving those benefits if they're terminated. And in essence, if they're terminated for cause, that should disqualify them from receiving benefits. Unfortunately, that's not the way these things play out, and that's frustrating. But we'll see what happens with the case that we did yesterday. I'll certainly keep you guys updated on it, and I think it's a big deal. Obviously, it's not a huge monetary expansion for one employee, but when you look at the state as a whole and governments as a whole and employers as a whole, it can be a fairly big burden, and I think it's something that deserves attention because I think it is significant and I think it's important. So I did that yesterday. Continued to work with Travis and with outside counsel on the PAB bonds for the sleeping ute apartments. There's a couple different options that are going to be coming down the pipe for you guys. In essence, at this point, the sleeping ute apartments project is going to not happen within the rest of the calendar year, and so we're going to have to reallocate those PAB bonds. There's a couple different options that you guys will have in terms of reallocating those bonds. One is you can reallocate them back to CHAFA and just put it back into the pot, and then they'll be accessible for everybody to apply for. The other option is an opportunity's come forward to reallocate those bonds to a specific project in Eagle County that's connected to the same developer that's looking to maybe acquire the sleeping ute apartments in the future. And so those will be your two options, and we can discuss those next week. We'll have an agenda item, but just wanted to put it on your radar to try to kind of start thinking about, hey, do we want to reallocate these bonds into the big statewide pot, or do we want to look at allocating these to a specific project? I think we've done both in the past. I do recall supporting a specific project. I think it was maybe in Arapahoe County, and then I know was it not Arapahoe?
Somewhere in the front.
It was somewhere in the Front Range.
It could have been Arapahoe, but it was
Yeah.
definitely in the Front Range.
Yeah. And then I know another time we did allocate those bonds back into the pot. I think the big point to be made and the big thing for the community to understand, I mean, in terms of affordable housing in Montezuma County, these bonds are available, but somebody's got to step up and take the initiative to get these developments going if that's in fact what they want to do. And I know developers work closely with the housing authority to try to get these projects going, but I think that there has been some difficulty in getting these projects moving in this county and getting these bonds allocated here locally. It certainly seems like a shame. I mean, the money's available. Certainly the need has been identified here in the county, and so it's just a matter of finding people to step up and take advantage of this. But that's where we are on that, and we'll have an agenda item next week. And, other than that, I don't have anything to report.
All right, thank you. Travis, you have some payables for us?
Yes, sir. Just a real quick update. Last week we completed all of our budget presentations to the budget committee. We're going to be doing some educational discussions with some different organizations, and get done with Cortez Journal and KSJD. Had some meetings about the CIP program. It looks like it's going to transition to another entity, and we did receive full funding from the SWORD grant for the CIP program, but that's going to be held in abeyance until it transitions to another entity. We'll be doing some finance director interviews coming up tomorrow due to retirements. And then lastly, I do have the payables. I have May and June. So for the May payables, the general fund total $1,299,997.15. Road and Bridge $675,592.08. Public Health $211,322.38. Capital Fund $5,218.36. Administration Fund $269,543.55. Landfill Fund $209,995.80. Check register total $2,671,669.32. And social services $1,422,580.43, with a total of $4,094,249.75.
Would so move that we approve the May and June payables for 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the May and June payables in the amount of $4,074,405.41. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything else, Travis?
No, sir.
Commissioner Lindsay?
Yes. Did attend a fair board meeting last night, and in addition to what the fair is all planned out and doing, there is a pancake benefit breakfast Saturday morning. I believe it's starting at 7 o'clock. Don't hold me to that. I may be wrong. That's to benefit the Hearst family who was involved in that accident. On another note, these fair board people, they invest a tremendous amount of volunteer time in doing this and putting this fair on, and are to be commended. They deal with a lot of different organizations, a lot of different groups, and I really must say to them, I appreciate your work and what you go through. Also, I have City Council tonight, Region 9 on Thursday, and that's about the gist of it.
All right, Commissioner Copenhaver.
I attended the last Mancos town meeting. They're constructing a new marshal's office in Mancos, right next to the center where the old post office used to be. That structure's going up right now. They're working on it pretty good. The last few days, it's really started going up. They haven't their discussion was having some cost overruns on it already before they even get it up. So they're working through that. They were working through that, how they were gonna fund some of the things that they didn't have enough money for, I guess, at that time. So other things they discussed was mostly about Manx days, where there was open containers could be had. There's a lot of discussion about allowing some of the vendors to be able to stay in the park next to their structures where they were vending stuff out of for protection during the night. Now, most of the stuff that they were discussing was mainly about the Manx days, and that's coming up here at the end of the month. So I'm sure they appreciate everybody's attendance and a good time for it. Be a good couple days over there. Be a lot of people in town. I'm going to try to attend the sales tax meeting Wednesday evening over the Mancus Library. Starts at 6:30. That's all I got.
All right, very good. Well, I got back home last week, finally, after a debacle with the airlines again, which I'm sure you guys have all heard about it, and it doesn't seem to get any better, it just seems to get worse. But anyway, I did make it back home from NACO conference. While I was out there, I did get to spend quite a bit of time with Larimer County and Boulder County commissioners in the facilities they have of the biochar facilities up in those counties. Travis and I will be going to view those Thursday of this week as we approach some more cleanup efforts up at the Ironwood project here in Dolores. So more to come on that. We did have a board to board meeting. We had
to tribe.
To tribe, Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. We had Mancos, Dolores, Cortez, and all of the county commissioners at a meeting last Wednesday. We have those quarterly. That one was held in the evening instead of a breakfast meeting. But very, very good information passed between all of the agencies and what was going on in their jurisdictions. So that was pretty enlightening. I've had a lot of other just one-on-one meetings with a lot of people without the community. Last night I was at the Dolores trustees meeting. They did pass a resolution for their water infrastructure that they're planning on doing. They're looking at a grant to try and get some more funding so that they can do their next phase of that project, and it will be a total of about 6 and possibly 7 phases by the time that they get it upgraded and done. So they're looking at some infrastructure costs over there. They do have their new bathroom going up in the park. If you've been over there, you can probably see it right off of the highway, and they will be bringing that building down, their old town hall, within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Within a month, it should be gone out of the park, Flanders Park, and that was about the extent of that. So with that, that is all that I also have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this July 23rd meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.